Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Blue Knight 7. I'm hopping on here after watching the Nintendo Direct just a little bit earlier. I don't have a lot of time to make a long thing today, but I did want to give my quick impressions after watching that. I'm not going to touch every game, but I'll touch a couple and just kind of talk about it overall. Um, it was more of a third party direct to me, but I understand why it's a general now. And I think there was a lot of confusion over what Nintendo was actually doing with this thing, and I think it's pretty clear, at least to me, in my head now. But just talking about the games, I'm going to go through a few of them rapid fire, but I was right about Square bringing Dragon Quest 1 and 2 trailers in. Looked good, looked interesting, looked like they're adding to the original game's content, so very good. I mean, that's the, and a lot of this I'm just going to say very good. But after that, we also saw a couple of things from Namco. I don't think anybody expected Patapon, but there it is. It's not something I'm real familiar with. I've heard of it. They brought in the Shadow Labyrinth game, the weird Pac-Man like game. It actually looked very good. Like I was, if I wasn't sold before, I'm interested now. Probably the biggest highlight for me, hands down, was Metroid Prime 4 because it did appear and they did give it a little over 3 minutes, so 10% of this direct. And wow, I mean, the graphics look great. I mean, as far as Prime 4 being a visual showcase for Switch 1, yeah, it's going to do that. We kind of expected that, but yeah, you can. And, we still haven't seen a lot of this game. This focused more on a jungle area. I'm assuming a lot of what we saw was like early in the game, still yet. But you can tell a couple of things. One, retro has not lost its touch. And two, they're going a couple interesting directions here. They're trying not to redo Prime 1. That's pretty clear to me. To me, it felt more like trying to do Metroid Prime 2 better. We clearly have some sort of a weird time travel thing going on. When they said space and time, I think they meant it. I think we saw Samus in the ancient version of a planet she was on. Vuron, I believe they called it. And instead of finding a bunch of technology, she's finding psychic powers. I'm real curious what's going on with that. I'm curious why her visor was purple, even with the Various suit. I'm just kind of curious about the whole thing, but it seems like a weird mix of 2 and 3 to me, the way it was working. Also notable, Samus seemed to be on the planet without her ship. Yeah. The suit they showed her in at the very end, it looked awesome. It reminded me of the light suit from Metroid Prime 2. That's the game I kept thinking about as I watched this. But maybe instead of light and dark worlds, we're going to see modern day and ancient past of a world. I don't know. It's hard to understand exactly what's going on. There were some unique looking enemies. Again, like everything just looked really impressive to me. And they didn't have Chozo, that they had some other strange race. I think it was Lemore or something, or Lemon or something like that. Which again reminds me of the Illuminati from Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. That's the one I keep thinking of when I see this. So, and the psych abilities did look interesting, like maybe a different way to do upgrades. So I'm sure some old-fashioned ones are going to get worked in too. But again, interesting. Want to see more. They just kept to 2025 for a release date. My guess is we get the release date and some kind of twist or some kind of Switch 2 related twist next week. Only other thing I would say when you look at some of the psych abilities, I'm pretty sure we're going to have Switch 2 mouse controls. I may set myself up for disappointment, but I'll go there. I guess you can tell where most of my brain power went with this. It's Metroid Prime 4. That was the highlight. The highlight. Saga Frontier 2 to me was. They Shadow dropped 3 games. 2 of them, Crypt of the Necrodancer looked good if you just want a rhythm game now. There was another, I think it may have been one of the farm sims released today. And Saga Frontier 2, I wasn't expecting that. That was a pleasant surprise from Square. But we got an HD 2D game Shadow Drop today. Should be a solid JRPG. The most unique thing I can see right off of it was, yeah, it's HD 2D, but the backgrounds are hand-drawn. So we're kind of going back to that with this game. Kind of like a which, a lot of the older PlayStation JRPGs like PS1 were like that. So, but this is HD. So, this is pretty cool to me. I'll probably pick it up. Also, we had a few indie games, and Monument stuck out to me in particular. Dotemu and Tribute coming forward with a Marvel beat 'em up. That was an unexpected game. I want it now. It's not coming out to the holidays. Dang, that looked like fire to me. Yeah, I want that. I think it was called Marvel Heroes Cosmic Invasion. I'll have to go back and look at it. But Captain America, Spider-Man, Venom, Wolverine, Storm, Nova. It looked like a true. You can't say it was the Avengers assembled, but it was a good collection of Marvel heroes. It looked like. I think they said 15. So in the roster. So yeah, that one looked good. And just in case it needs to be said, Tribute. This is a Scott Pilgrim versus the World people. They know what they're doing. This is going to be solid. Solid. Cannot wait. This is the Shredder's Revenge people. I cannot wait. Also, we had a couple from Nintendo. It was a general because we had a few that you would call first party or, Nintendo working with a partner to bring a first party, but we saw Rhythm Heaven. I know there's a lot of people that wanted that forever. You got it. You finally got it. And Tomodachi Life. That was not something I was expecting, but there you go. I was glad to see a game with Mii's come back, even if it's on the tail end of the Switch cycle. I am glad to see the Mii's are not dead. So we have that. And a couple of interesting announcements. One was a new system for sharing digital games as virtual game cards that you can lend to people within your family plan for 2 weeks at a time. Basically, this is a way to get out of the primary, secondary, Switch designations, things like that. And, what I would say is it seems like a more sane system to swap games within your Nintendo Online subscription. It's obviously, to me, meant for families. Like, I have my Switch. If I had a kid, I would loan a game to him. Kid for 2 weeks. If they want to keep playing, just loan it to them again. it sounds good to me, and interesting. I think it's kind of pro-consumer. As far as loaning to your friends, I guess this isn't the best, but I could see groups of friends trying to share a family plan so they could share some games. People are going to use this, use it to their advantage. And it was interesting. I don't think there's anybody else that does it quite like they are. Also, at the very end, it was kind of weird. Shigeru Miyamoto showed up, and I know my first thought was, wait a minute, are they going to show a movie or something with him? And no, Nintendo has an app. Nintendo Today, apparently it's going to have daily content. And it probably would be a good one to keep up with, because they'll probably drop some news first on that app. So now they have an app that people will want to check into every day. Nintendo Today. I'll probably download it later. Just looking back over the whole thing overall, I think I understand the angle now. And it's not too different than what I was thinking, but basically I feel like there was a lot of third-party games for Switch 1 that they just wanted to get out and talk about. And if they promised to do a trailer and a direct, they did it today. They just kind of rolled it on out before next week. I do think that's a general theme here. But I also think there was 2 or 3 things that they did just to get the communication out ahead of time and give people a chance to process today so that they're not overloaded on April 2nd. The virtual card deal, the Nintendo Today app, nice to know, didn't have to be part of the April 2nd Direct. Let's just get it out there. Rhythm Heaven, Tamagotchi, Switch 1 games, nice to have. Might bloat the Switch 2 Direct a bit. Let's just get them out there now. And I think, to me, that's what this was. Metroid Prime 4. Good question about what's going on there. And we can go down 2 forks in the road. One is they showed the trailer today, and they just kept it at 2025 when they showed it today, because it really is releasing later in the year for whatever reason, and they're not making it part of the immediate launch window for Switch 2. That is very possible. Like, it'll be later in the year, and we can look at it, not so much Tamagotchi, but look at Metroid Prime 4 as a Switch 1 swan song. I think that could be possible. Let's be real, that could be possible. The other thing that could be happening, and it's kind of what I was hoping to see, is that we see it again on April 2nd. Like, people will wonder if it's really coming back again, and I think a lot of people are going to say no. But what if it came back again April 2nd, not with a long trailer like what we saw today? Because I do think that was like the overview trailer, so to speak. But what if we saw maybe just a short trailer or a short mention, like, last week we showed you this game. Here today we're going to tell you that on Switch 2 it will have some enhanced visuals, and it will have mouse controls. I think that is still very possible. We'll see. Either way, I know it's a good game. I know Retro hasn't lost their touch. Not that I doubted them. That first trailer kind of showed that they wasn't doing anything to lose people. But the second one, to me, just kind of affirmed, yeah, we're getting a solid Metroid Prime entry. And it had its own hook with the psychic abilities. It has some unique time travel story. It's going to be a distinct entry in the franchise, and it's going to be remembered for its own reasons. That much is very clear to me, and that's what I wanted out of this game. So I'm already good. I was good. but I'm really good now. And that is the Direct for me in a nutshell. Oh yeah, also of note, Konami Gradius collection with, they had entries go under Gradius, had entries go over the name go under the name Salamander. They put out basically a collection with a new Gradius game or Salamander game, Salamander 3, as in an actual new game with the arcade Gradius Salamander feel. That was out of the blue too. So what I'm saying, folks, is good Direct. I don't think it's the best Direct of all time. I think that's probably coming next week. But good Direct. Solid. Did what I thought if it's the way I described it, it did what it set out to do. And it kind of did a good job clearing the runway for Switch 2 stuff. So, next week, I'll probably put up another video sooner or later, just for last minute Switch 2 Direct predictions now. But next week, my guess is we are really seeing like all Switch 2 stuff next week. I think this was the final Switch 1 Direct, or the one worth talking about. And we might see random Switch 1 things in the future. I can't rule out seeing something for Switch 1 in the April 2nd Direct, but I don't think that's what they're doing. If we do, it's Metroid Prime 4. That's it. I think Switch 2, April 2nd, is all about Switch 2. That's when we'll see the hardware in detail, or whatever they want to tell us about the hardware. That's when we see Mario Kart. That's when we see whatever else they have for Switch 2. Woo! What a morning. Thank you all for listening. If you're still here, God bless you. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit notification bell. I'm trying to get my channel up to 1,000 subscribers. Please share. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, everybody. It's been one for me.